Welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. Thanks for watching the show. This is episode 38 of Goode and Faithful Servant. I am your host, Coach Tripp. I'll do this show along with my old teammate at Bama, Kerry Goode. Great running back, great person, and just wisdom-filled. We dive into his book, Goode and Faithful Servant, every Monday night. And as you probably know, Kerry has Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and they gave him 2 to 4 years to live, and he's on year 10. With AI technology now, he has lost all movement and muscle in his body, including his voice. So he types the words in with his eyes into the computer, and it spits it out in his own voice. So we're thankful for AI technology to bring you Goode and Faithful Servant every Monday night. And let's jump into it, folks. Goode and Faithful Servant, day 108. He breaks up his book into chapters into days, 196 days. We're on day 108, and he titles this, Learning the Hard Way. Whoa, we've all been there. All right, these are in Kerry's words. I just asked the questions. I literally learned the hard way. I can't tell you how many times my parent asked, why do you insist on learning the hard way? Which normally was followed by a butt whooping. My mom used to tell me that I was a hard-headed kid. That was her way of telling me that I was stubborn. And she was right. I've learned several hard lessons in life because I did things my way. I guess I was what Proverbs 21:11 calls a simpleton, a person lacking in common sense. Quote, simpletons only learn the hard way, but the wise learn by listening. Other times in my life, I've learned by heart because I had to learn by hard first. When you're hard-headed, God chastises your heart by allowing you to face the obstacles that you choose on your own. In turn, you suffer every painful consequence of your actions. You don't have to live the hard way. Start living and learning God's way. Humble yourself. Acknowledge that he is in control and yield yourself to his plan. Have a teachable spirit. Seek good advice. Let Jesus have the last word. That's how we learn. We either put it in our hearts or we experience the consequences of making mistakes. Don't be hard-headed. All right, let's dive into the first question for you, Kerry. I usually have 3 questions for Kerry, and he summarizes the show afterwards. So my first question for KG is, talk about Proverbs 21:11 in the quote, simpletons only learn the hard way, but the wise learn by listening.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This is your host, Kerry Goode, coming to you from the land of lessons learned the hard way, where wisdom is earned one bruise at a time. First off, thank you for tuning in. Whether you're driving, folding laundry, or hiding from your kids in the pantry, I appreciate you spending time with me. Let's get into it. Today's theme is learning the hard way, and let me tell you, I majored in it. I got a PhD in hard-headedness with a minor in I told you so. My mama used to ask me, why do you insist on learning the hard way? And right after that came the parental punctuation mark, the good old-fashioned butt whipping. That was her version of a semicolon. So let's talk about Proverbs 21:11. Simpletons only learn the hard way, but the wise learn by listening. When I first read that verse, I thought, well, dang, God just called me out by name. I was the poster child for simpleton behavior. If there was a wall, I ran into it. If there was a warning, I ignored it. If there was a pothole, I fell in it twice. I didn't just learn the hard way. I redecorated it and moved in. But here's the thing. That verse is just a roast session. It's a roadmap. It's telling you, hey, you don't have to keep bumping your head to get the message. Wisdom isn't about being perfect. It's about being teachable. It's about listening before life has to yell at you. And trust me, life will yell. Sometimes through heartbreak, sometimes through hospital visits, sometimes through your mama standing over you with a belt and a Bible. So if you're out there still trying to do it your way, let me lovingly say, stop being hard-headed. God's way is better. His plan comes with peace, not bruises. And if you're smart, you'll learn by listening, because the hard way has terrible customer service and no refund policy.
Wow. Kerry's got a way of words, doesn't he? His humor. All right, that verse is a roadmap, he says. Wisdom isn't about being perfect. It's about being teachable, learning from the mistake. God's plan comes with peace, not always bruises. The hard way has terrible customer service and no return policy. That's good stuff, Kerry. All right, this is my next question for you. Let's learn a little bit more. Consequences, paying the piper, learned lessons, karma, whatever you call it, there's a price to pay for poor choices. Explain what you call, quote, God chastising and learning by heart, KJ.
This question hits close to home because if anybody knows about consequences, it's me. I've paid the piper so many times. I started asking him for a loyalty discount. Let's talk about what I call God chastising and learning by heart. See, when you're hard-headed like I was, and let's be honest, still am on occasion, God does not just whisper lessons to you. He lets life teach you with a full syllabus and a pop quiz you didn't study for. You ignore the warning signs, and next thing you know, you're sitting in the middle of a mess you made, wondering how the GPs rerouted you to Regretville. Now, God's chastisement isn't about punishment. It's about correction. It's about love. It's Him saying, I tried to tell you gently, but since you insisted on doing it your way, here's the lesson with a little sting on it. And trust me, when God teaches you by heart, He doesn't use flashcards. He uses real life consequences that hit you in your pride, your wallet, and sometimes you're behind. I learned that when you don't listen with your ears, God teaches you through your experience. That's learning by heart. It's when the lesson gets tattooed on your soul because you lived it, felt it, and cried through it. And once you've been through that kind of lesson, you don't forget it. You don't just know it, you own it. So yes, there's a price to pay for poor choices. But the good news is, God doesn't leave you in the wreckage. He meets you there, helps you clean it up, and says, now let's do it my way. If you're out there learning by heart right now, hang in there. The pain has a purpose. The lesson has value. And the next time God speaks, maybe, just maybe, you will listen before He has to enroll you in life school again. Stick around. We've got more wisdom and a few bruises to unpack.
Pain has a purpose. Lessons are learned. Wow, a lot of stuff. Kerry covered a lot of stuff humorously again. All right, let's go. I paid the piper so many times, I asked him for a loyalty discount. We've all done that. I'm still doing it. The good news is God doesn't leave you in the wreckage, but He doesn't abandon you there. He goes there with you to pull you out of that wreckage. He puts you in for a lesson, a hard lesson to learn. So it's tattooed on your soul, I think Kerry said. Tattooed on your soul. So learn it. I'm talking to myself as well as everybody out there. Kerry's full of wisdom. I'm just bringing him the message. He meets you there and he helps you back up and out. Kerry says God does. Not about punishment, it's about correction. Don't feel like you're getting punished. Feel like you're getting corrected. Seek good advice. Use your wisdom. Listen to God and not yourself. All right. Wow. Let's go. Last question for KG. Kerry, explain this kind of caution sign. Yield yourself to His plan. How do we find this kind of discernment, KG?
Let's talk about that caution sign. Yield yourself to His plan and how we find the kind of discernment that makes that possible. First off, let me be honest, yielding ain't natural, especially for folks like me who used to think God's plan was a suggestion, and my plan was the deluxe version. I treated life like a four-way stop with no brakes, just vibes, and every time I blew through that intersection, I got T-boned by reality. Yielding means slowing down, checking your pride, and letting God take the lead. It's not passive, it's intentional. It's saying, Lord, I don't know what's ahead, but I trust you do. And that kind of trust takes discernment. So how do we get it? Discernment is something you pick up at the gas station. It's built through prayer, patience, and a whole lot of practice. You start by asking God to help you see things clearly. You read His Word, not just for comfort, but for direction. You surround yourself with people who speak truth, not just hype, and you learn to recognize peace, not comfort, not convenience, but peace as the green light. Sometimes discernment comes through wisdom, and sometimes it comes through wounds. I've had both. I've learned to yield because I've crashed enough times trying to drive blindfolded. So if you're out there trying to figure out what God's plan is for your life, start by yielding. not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know that his plan is better than anything you could cook up on your own. And remember, yielding doesn't mean stopping. It means pausing long enough to let the right one go first. Stick around. We've got more coming up. And if you're still trying to drive your own way, just know God's GDs never loses signal.
Wow. Holy cow. I think this is Kerry's best episode. We've been doing this a little over a year and a half now. And the way he weaves humor into it. Discernment comes from prayer, practice, and patience. That's how you get discernment. Start by asking God to see things clearly. Discernment comes through wounds and wisdom, both. Yielding means pausing, allowing the right one to go first. God's GPS never loses signal, Kerry says. Think about that. Wow, this is great stuff. Folks, I think this is one of Kerry's best episodes. I want to thank him for putting the time and effort and thought and humor into those episodes. And let's hear from Kerry as he summarizes the show.
All right, folks, we've reached the end of another episode, and if you've made it this far, congratulations. You survived Kerry's crash course in spiritual common sense with a side of comedy and a sprinkle of bruised pride. Let's recap. First, we talked about simpletons, and I confess to being one proudly. I didn't just learn the hard way. I built a summer home there. But Proverbs reminded us that wisdom comes when we stop treating advice like background noise and start listening like our life depends on it, because sometimes it does. Then we dove into consequences, karma, and what I call learning by heart. That's when God lets you trip over your own shoelaces until you finally ask him for Velcro. It's not punishment, it's correction. And it's how he gets your attention when you ignore the gentle nudge and need the full shove. And finally, we explored what it means to yield to his plan. That's not just a spiritual suggestion, it's a survival strategy. Discernment doesn't come from guessing. It comes from praying, pausing, and realizing your way keeps landing you in the ditch. Yielding means letting God go first, because he actually knows where he's going. So thank you for tuning into the show. If you laughed, learned, or just nodded along while brushing your teeth with one hand and chasing your toddler with the other, do me a favor, share this episode with someone else. Let's spread the wisdom, the humor, and maybe save a few folks from a spiritual faciplint. Until next time, this is Kerry Goode reminding you, don't just check the box, check your heart. Good night and God bless.
Unbelievable, Kerry. Great stuff, brother. Unbelievable crash course in consequences and comedy from Kerry. KG, thanks for being you, man. Thank you for your humor, wisdom, laughing, and learning. Everybody share this, all right? Pass the word on. All the episodes, go back and check out all the episodes of Goode and Faithful Servant, but share this one, like it, and subscribe. I want to thank you, KG, again, brother. Have a great sports weekend. Roll Tide, and we will talk to you soon. Stay tuned for these great messages. This episode is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet and all my great sponsors. We will talk to you soon. Have a great sports week, everybody. So long.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at buggyworks.com. Buggy Works. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
Over 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352, 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
Hey, Bama fans, this is Will Moore, president of the Pensacola Bama Club. You can find us at PensacolaBamaClub.com. We are your official alumni chapter in the Pensacola and surrounding areas. Membership is available to all alumni and all Bama fans, so come see us at one of our many events throughout the year. Our Bama football watch parties are the next best thing to being in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We even serve authentic stadium hot dogs. Membership, event, and contact information will be found on our website at PensacolaBamaClub.com. Roll Tide.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at HillKellyDodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.